Hey everybody. In this step, what we're going to be doing is setting up a script that's going to improve our player's camera. So we want to set up a camera for our player that's going to basically allow them to walk behind walls and have the camera actually move in so that you can continue to see the player. So what we need to do to start that is we need to go into Resources, Scripts, Created, and inside this folder, we're going to create a new script. So we're going to right click, go to Create, C# script. We're going to name this Camera Upgrader, just like that. And then what we're going to do is attach that to our player. So if we hit the player, we're going to drag that into the inspector on the right side here. Then we can go ahead and double click on the script to open that up. All right, so the first thing we need are three variables up here at the top. So we're going to say public player camera, player cam, cam. Then we're going to say public layer mask, LM, and then bool object hit equals false. Next, we can actually go ahead and get rid of void start and void update. We're going to replace that with void fixed update. We can leave private. That should be fine. Then we're going to say raycast hit. So a raycast is basically us firing a laser inside of our game, and then whatever object we hit, we can send out to this raycast hit variable. I got a cough, excuse me. So now that we have the raycast hit private variable here, what we can do is say if physics.raycast. So this is actually what's going to handle firing the raycast for us. We're going to say if raycast from transform.position, so from our player's position to our camera's position. So we do that by saying camera.main.transform.position. So if our raycast between those 2 points, we're doing a direction here. So we need camera.main.transform.position minus transform.position. So we're drawing a line between those 2 points. Then we're going to tap enter after the comma just so we can see everything in one line here, because this line is going to be really long. We then say out hit, so that's us sending that information to that raycast hit variable we made at the start of fixed update there. We're then going to say vector3.distance from transform.position to comma transform.position plus player cam default cam position. So what that's doing is it's sending it out at a maximum distance of how far our camera is from our player when we first start playing. And then comma LM, which is that layer mask variable, and that just controls what things this raycaster is actually able to hit. We don't want it to hit anything else but a wall that we determined ourselves. So we're going to go outside the parentheses here, add 2 of our curly brackets. We're going to say object hit equals true, and player cam dot set camera position hit dot point. So what that's going to do is it's going to tell our camera that, hey, we hit something with our laser at this point, so you need to adjust your position accordingly. And then we say else if, and then in parentheses object hit. So if that raycast doesn't hit anything, but we still think that that object hit boolean is true, we're going to set object hit to false. And then we're going to reset our player camera's position. So we say player cam dot reset camera position, just like that. Perfect. We can go ahead and save the script now and then head back over to Unity, where when we select our player, we're going to see some new variables appear to us on that component. So we select player. Down here, we say player camera upgrader. So we're going to drag player cam in here. And then you'll notice that if we hit layer, we don't actually have a layer designated for this yet. So we need to make one. So we need to hit layer, add layer, and then where it says user layer 6, we're going to say camera block, just like that. And then go back to the player LM and set camera block and the LM here. Now, this is the important part for making this work. If you miss this part, this upgrader will not work. You now need to figure out which objects in your scene are actually causing are things that you actually want to block the camera. So not everything in your scene needs to block the camera, right? Like these statues, some of the smaller stuff on the ground, we can see over, so we don't want those to block the camera. But for taller things, like these walls, for example, if our camera's behind our wall here, we won't actually be able to see anything. So I recommend going through your scene, finding the objects that are blocking your camera, and then selecting them, and then go to, in the top right of the inspector, layer, camera block. That is the only way that this will work. If you forget to set objects in your scene to have the camera block layer, the camera upgrader will not work. So keep that in mind as you're setting up your levels, that the things that you want, you have to create that camera block layer and set this to the camera block layer. And then on your player LM variable, you need to set that to camera block. But once you've got all that, you should be good to go. And then you can go ahead and save your scene.